this so loud? Wait, what? Oh. That sounds okay. Alright, well, anyway, hello, everybody. This is just a cool camera angle, so I didn't want to switch it. I just liked how it looked. Maybe this will be my next composition, kids. Anyway, let me share this real quick. Yeah, that's fine. I need to finish some stuff for term 1 still. I'm like so close to done. But we're gonna look at what I've been doing. So, the last stream was let me pop this out because I will be using a reference for something. Get this here. Yeah, I don't know, really quick sort of for myself. So here's the Trello board of magical things. Figure drawing 1 is, I would call this done. Perspective 1, I'm calling it a DNF. There's some extra credit. I kind of knew I wasn't going to get to this, but it was optimistic. I didn't finish these, and I chose not to. Some details here if you choose to read. But some of the perspective stuff is kind of C-level work, in my opinion. But I decided C-level is better than non-existent A-level. And then I just want to finish these compositions. These iterations are really important. It's been really good for me mentally to push on the different types of iterations that I'm doing. And then I've got the term 2 stuff lined up to start. It's not supposed to start today. It's not supposed to start yesterday. It's supposed to start today. So really quickly gonna adjust that. Just kind of got to dig. I kind of had a semi-realization where, like, you know, discipline leads to play, because I feel like when I've been doodling, all the stuff is coming out unconsciously. Anyway, I'm going to scale this back up, because why not? Well, there's many reasons why not, so. I'm going to do this for about an hour, and I'm hoping I can get through 10 iterations in that hour. I don't know when I last, well, no, it was August 7th. So I think I did this on stream, I think. And then, nope, I did these ones. These were the last ones I did on stream, and I think I finished with this one because I remember being frustrated because that was number 50. And then I started doing some just shape stuff. I feel like this isn't good. The brush pen was just fun to play with. And I just liked messing around with stuff in space, and that was the goal with these. These are the perspective exercises that, in theory, was supposed to do, and this is what I'm calling the C-level work, or like, you know, for the box your object, I was doing some book stacks as it was recommended. These are, you know, physically imbalanced, but I think it's alright. This was my cylinder foreplay. And I think what's nice is that I can keep doing this. You know, always. A lot of this is just from the imagination. I really like this bookshelf that I ended up doodling. I tried to do a little curvy perspective. What's nice is that when I draw a line now, I can kind of just see things. Anyway, for my composition iterations, this is the first one, Death's Doorways is what I'm calling it. It was from when I don't actually know if it was on stream that I did this, but it was this. No, was this on stream? I don't think so. But I just really liked it, and so I just decided to iterate on it. And I think I got to number 6, and I was like, I'm done. I like that. But the iterations, they force you to always look at something and say, how can I adjust this? Because I think on one hand, thumbnails are good for problem solving, but then thumbnails are also good for just trying new ideas and seeing what happens. Which is important, for me at least. So I kind of like these. There's, you know, the ideas there. I did this all with brush pen. This one is okay. I tried to change up with the uneven doorways, and then this one, I'm trying to, you know, put torches to indicate something about the stories that Death is visiting, but yeah. objects stacked. And then last night, I actually really liked these. Not in the sense that I feel like they're good, but just in the sense that I feel like I did a good job iterating. So this is one of those robots from Horizon Zero Dawn. Kind of adjust as best I can, but this was pretty fun. This was the fountain pen. This was too big, so then I made it smaller, and then I flipped the direction, and then I changed up the environment a little bit. So I put him on a rock instead of a hill. Oh, and then it was like, one thing I really have been messing with is the dark and light elements of composition. So I tried to fill in with a brush pen. I really like this one, just this tall thing in the background roaming, and I like this one. No way, I don't like this one. I like this last one. I put little dots of the ones I like the best. So I like this one a lot. I like this alternative, this dynamic here, and then this thing in the background. The goal is to keep you wandering in this S shape, your eyes. This one I just like because I was like, oh, I'm experimenting with this dark and light, and it kind of worked. And then this one, tried this alternate dynamic, but it didn't really work. It's kind of boring. And then this one I just threw in mountains. I don't hate it. It's curved, And then this was just this morning, just before streaming, I was doodling. And I just kind of was making a big version of it, in a way. But yeah, so I really made this guy the main character. Today, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I am going to pull open something to draw along with, and then I will make sure I keep these windows open in case anyone stops by. But otherwise, just kind of drawing along. I just need to choose the composition I want to do. Hey, gear music. I think this one of these images I had in my head 2 weeks ago. These compositions are all from imagination. The robot was used as a reference from the Horizon Zero Dawn art book, though. Anyway, we are going to take out we're going to use felt tip today. I want to try and finish these pens. So, we'll date this. Love it. Yeah. Glad I did the 50 movie ones before all these, because it helps kind of knowing what to shoot for when doing this box. I guess what I'm seeing is it's kind of like a Petit Prince rose situation. Probably use a reference for this. Where are you from? I am from Seattle. That's where I am now, at least. I feel like I should have started with the head. Just because then I can start with the spine. This here. I don't love this. I don't know how to make it interesting. Awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you for stopping by the stream. Because I think what I want is the idea that there's a heavy pressure down on the composition, but there's still hope going up. But I don't know how to do that. Maybe I should look at like a little plant reference. High tide, low tide, you know. Sprouting plant. Yeah, this. Okay. Oops. This composition is. How do I make it interesting? Right, that's the goal. I have this idea. It's this figure trying to nurture a plant. How do I make that interesting? I'm gonna try one with the brush pen because I have an idea, but I don't know if I have the skill to execute it. So, let's see. Okay, this is really wide. That's okay. Okay, so what we can do is we can use our thirds. So I'm using our little reference here. Okay, that's a little too exaggerated. Okay, this is getting cut off. Oops. This is our plant, that's certain. I don't know. I'm just kind of putting stuff in and just see what happens. Because now, if we're this big, then how do I... Do I have a hand coming around the back to... This isn't it. This is not it. I think having the figure in here is important. What I want to do, I'm going to have to combine these. this style of plant. The thing is, if it's this big, then the person has to be huge. Look up a person sitting there. Can I get a slightly more top down? Okay, this is interesting. Okay. I'll use my figure sketching abilities. Asymmetry of the foot here. Kind of overdoing it on the attempted anatomy here, but remember how long the arms can be. This is the lumbar here. Okay, the sizing actually kind of works out. So we're gonna do this, this, this. I think the foot underneath is making a big old difference for me. Yeah, I'm trying to keep this looking down. But so now the question is, how do I want to do this? High tide, low tide, it's too much leaning back, but that's okay for right now. What I want to do is somehow illuminate from here. And then this whole thing just but then there's no real kind of horizon. I don't know. Maybe I should go even simpler. Quick pivot here. do like a live draw thing. Alright, sick. Back to here. Alright. It's funny because there's a part of me that's like, I gotta make these entertaining to watch back, but the reality is I don't. I'm thinking too much. Let's just keep it simple, right? So if we break this down, we've got because the details. If the details make a difference in the composition, I'm doing it wrong. That's my take. I think detail, like the plant, you can change this. But like if we had a wilting plant, like a wilting sprout. Wilting sprout. Just like a couple of these somewhere. But then, so let's go back to this. I'm only accentuating the like anatomy-ish because I feel like I should. Blood and sweat. Just helps me think about it. Even if it's wrong, I'm thinking about it. That's what's important. Okay, this just looks like the guy's behind the flower. That's okay. Mistakes were made. That's all right. But again, how do I? I don't know how to use this like insane darkening technique. Not technique, but I mean maybe it's just literally just that, I think brushstroke is important. Back and say, could have been me. What's my goal? What's my goal? Don't wanna take my sometimes the energy's just not there, but gotta finish these. I feel like I'm losing the idea. But I like, one thing that's really fun is that you see how much it evolves. Like, this does feel more than this. Because this is just getting the idea out, and then you start to refine the idea because you can really look at it. I think part of also just what's helpful about getting in just mileage is just seeing why you need to draw your ideas out. And at least for me, like, you can't just think about them. You can think about them ad infinitum, but when you get to present them on paper, it's so much better. I think, okay, we can mess with the number of objects. So this goal is just 2, but we could have a third. I wonder if that would make things more interesting. Like, what if there's a foreboding sense of, like, doom? So if we had the flower here, or sorry, the plant. I kind of like this plant the most, just in the way that it like flares up here. But I don't like the fact that this is so anyway. And then we have our person. I'm going to start with the head this time. Trying to make it face more toward the actual plant. Which is going better than I thought it would. And he lost it. That's okay. This is better. I like this actually when they're facing towards the plant. Like a little bit front. I think that makes it a lot more interesting. I don't know why, but it does. So now there's the sense of a third object. I wonder. Just a simple little horizon line here. This will be more positive space than negative space. I feel like a sunrise is like the most natural thing to do. Could do a mountain. But where is this person? Where is this taking place? It's not taking place in the middle of nowhere. Is it taking place inside? This is definitely too big, but it's a generic window for you. See, now this tells a story a little bit. What story am I trying to tell? How can I use this person fostering a small little flower to tell a greater story? Where's the light coming from? Ooh, maybe that's what this could become a light. I'm gonna try that. Alright, for some reason, we can mess it up. So we're gonna mirror this along a vertical axis. So we're gonna have the light come down here. If I want you to look left to right, I want you to hit the stem and bounce around. I'm trying to use a directional cue here. that something that I'm probably not doing? Sure. But I'm going to try anyway? Yeah. Just mirroring the flower, and then, or the plant. And then I got to mirror the person. So we're here, looking down this way. Just trying to make it more gestural. Use this to indicate the direction they're facing here. Here. We got their pelvis kind of doing this. Got their leg kind of doing this. With their legs. Plural. The foot. I'll fill it out a little bit. I still like it looking at the, I almost said egg, because the head looks like an egg. But anyway, I don't want to touch the person. Now we have this. I want it to be, the dark to be more. Okay, this kind of makes sense, because the plant doesn't emit light, which is what I wanted to do up here, right? I want to make the plant bright. So if I can just fill in this. But then make sure that we know that this light is quote unquote on. So we've got this is completely dark. I think I don't know, because now you have this question of like, why is this person inside? Maybe. Hopefully that's a question, you know? What is the plant? Why are they here? What is happening? You know, maybe we can put an object off to the side here. Not with this pen. But, you know, great. I don't know what's happening with the scene, but there's a warehouse element here. See, so now we're evolving, we're iterating. Hey, this feels good. It's taken a force of will because I just want to be like, all right, break time. But I don't know. Looking at the end result is really satisfying. Just seeing the iteration change. Okay, so I think it's good of, you know, what I still like facing that way more, but I do like this one the best so far. What is the story you want to tell? I think ultimately this is very important for me as well, because it's the whole point of doing art for me. I'm trying to tell the stories I have in my head. These two, and then I will cut stream, do the last two, which is kind of a cop out. Oh, these are really tall. I just kind of absentmindedly was like, oh, gotta fill up the page. That's alright. Oh, the song changed. so we got our plant. Can you feel my love? Oh, oh, oh. Can you feel my love? Maybe this is a Tease of the Kingdom moment, you know what I mean? But only in retrospect. Can you feel? Can you feel? Can you feel my love? Can you feel my love? Oh, what if the person's kneeling? Didn't think about that, did you? Brain. If someone's kneeling, then their pelvis is still going to be here, but their legs are going to be here. I guess they're going to be a little apart, right? My dryer just finished. I kind of like this because then what you can do is have this person's arms come down as if they're nurturing the flower. Now they need to be a little closer for this, but, and of course these arms need to be a little bigger, can't lie. Now I wonder, does the line, you know, for this dark wall, does it change does it, if I put it at their head, is that better than putting it at their waist? Let's do the same thing twice here. So if I was digital, I might copy paste, but I am at a point where I absolutely should be manually doing this. Okay, it's alright that this is kind of, not great. They're just educated scribbles. So with one of these, I want the light or the line to be here. And this one, I want it to be here. Do I want this to be crate still? I don't know. I think what I want to make sure is I get what else needs to be in the scene before I do the negative positive space thing. I don't know if I like the box or not. I kind of like it because it adds a slight amount of context. But again, what story am I trying to tell? The plant's way too big, I will admit. Plant too big. And this comes back to me in relative sizing. I think the person is well sized. Person good. Person good. Thus smaller plant. Doing the last two off stream is a cop out. I'm gonna finish the last two on stream. I'm without even the positive negative space, I really like this. So I think what this allows me to do is dangle a light. Now it's very symmetrical now, though. So I think this is where I might put, you know, a box here and a box here. Little boxes here, so that kind of offsets it a little bit, because I could put the light here, but then it just doesn't fit, not anymore. I'll try to put, you know, boxes more to the foreground, I think, maybe. And then this stacking of boxes and books and stuff has taught me a lot. It's really helpful when just stacking the boxes, because you get a sense of like how angled something really needs to be to look on top of something. Like this still looks rotated like this. So this line is, yeah, anyway, not important. But this is why I want to draw. I'm trying to remind myself of that so I can, you know, have more play and less discipline, because that's the goal of all the discipline, right? Is to just the play. Or so I'm finding out recently. Now we have 3 though, and this is even. I probably shouldn't be working on these both at the same time, but that's okay. I like the lower. I'm gonna like the lower more, I think. I think in general this just is more interesting as well. Okay, I don't need to go right up to it. That's mental note. Felt liner and brush pen is kind of a fun combo. God, I don't, who needs a pencil anymore, man? No, I think when time goes on, I don't know. I think it's because of, you know, Peter Hahn, but like, it just feels better to iterate with pen than to try and constantly adjust a pencil drawing. But at the same time, my goal is not accuracy. My goal is just ideating. Two more. I like this one. I like this one a lot. I much prefer this to the one on the left. Okay. So recapping largely for myself, but also just like, what's the point of this? You know, we have this original idea. It's pretty plain, and this is just kind of what I see in my head. But what I see in my head is it's all dark and there's a little bit of light. So like maybe even go so far as to, you know, darken that a little bit. Anyway. And then, you know, real quick experimentation. This is supposed to be a hand, I guess. Which I'd like to be able to tell in the future, so. And it's like, okay, well, that didn't work. We zoom back out, but we zoom in a little bit. Mess with darkness. Maybe the wilting plants help, maybe they don't. And then all of a sudden, maybe we're indoors. You know, what's that third object we can add here? Maybe not a window. Something else to indicate indoors with the light. Flip this. I have I prefer this angle because I think what I want is to see the plant first. And I know that, you know, we want more negative space up top, but we want the negative space on the top. Very intentional choice because I think I want a sense of rising to come out of this composition here. So now I need to make the plant smaller. That much I know. Too many passes, and also this slightly taller, you know, frame kind of worked. Not too many matches. To work on my straight line still. We walk through the fire. Is there a way out? Is there a way out? Walk through the fire. Alright. Okay, so we know that the ground is effectively on the bottom third. And the plant should, you know, be on both. That's still a little big. It's okay. We can crop that. Yeah. A little smaller. I guess I can... Oh, this is way too far to the left, though. Whatever. What do I want the person to be? I don't know if I want overlap, actually. I like the kneeling over the cross-legged. Maybe because I don't think I was quite nailing the cross-leg. The kneeling might just be easier, so... No, we'll do them slightly off, but we still want them in front of the plant, right? A way out. Is there a way out? Walk through the fire. Yeah, okay, and then this is the line here. We have the spine coming up. I'm gonna try and do this a little more full. Collarbone-ish. I wanna know, is there a way out? Yeah, way out. Maybe if we have the hands, you know, just kind of fall into the side. You know, another thing to just kind of change. Because I kind of have them leaning back, so in a way that's kind of just what I'm seeing already. Alright. Yeah. And then, here. Oh, dude, I like this. This makes me feel what I want to feel in my image. I like the arms down, dude. All right, we're cooking. Chat, I'm cooking. I think actually this accidentally works out because what I can do now is you've got this half that's full here, but then all of a sudden, you know, if I dangle a light, I don't know why, but I like the jagged, you know, end of the wire here. This light might be too low. It's okay. Chat, am I cooked? Chat, I'm cooking. This might be a little, I don't know. for okay, so an hour to do 10 of these. That's alright. That's 6 minutes per. Yeah, checks out. Alright. And again, I'm not done, but I think what I do like as well is just a huge box, a huge crate here. I don't know why. I really don't. I mean, trying to make that as, you know, best cube in space as I can, but it's alright. It's just kind of like, in some sense, it's like you see this and then you see the background, and I don't hate that idea. I like the idea of just this, like, incidental highlight around these subjects, because in a way, you know, if we really color this in effectively, not effectively, but like, you know, in effect, now we've got this light that's just really casting a darkness on this side of the composition itself. I mean, the question is still like, oh, why is this an inside scene? I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Right? Maybe the box doesn't work in the foreground, actually. I do like the idea that you get kind of drawn to this side of things, but what happens if I just, like, remove the light? Because I guess the reason the light is there is not to provide a light source, but is to provide an implication that we're indoors. Yeah, I kind of missed the light, but the box kind of does the thing we're looking for. I like this one, dude. We're getting better with each iteration, man. And this is Seker's whole point. Not, it's just like, now I kind of know why I like these. This one is boring because, I mean, this is just an idea. I can't really call it boring because the goal of this one is different than the goal of this one. But I know that I like the offset of the objects. The more even it is, the less I like it. It's like I want to stop here. It's just like, yeah, number 9, man. That's it. But alas, I cannot. Maybe it's navy. I mean, gold, not navy. It's not gonna make sense to anyone but me. That's fine. Wherever you go, it explodes. No more can't you see? Need to be free. Okay, let's do this last one here. Let your spirits flow wherever you go. Our hearts will always be burning. And then, the line's going to be here. I kind of nailed this kneeling position. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think I can recreate that. But I can try. I like that this followed the spine. This collarbone trick from the Fresh Eyes challenge is a game changer. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just thinking about it, not even having to do it. Spirits flow wherever you go. Let your spirits flow wherever you go. Our hearts will always be burning, hungry for more. And the whole thing should have a downward look on it. I'm not good enough for that. I think that's what's wrong with this. Downward look. Bird's eye. Okay, so what do I want to do with over here? If I didn't like the light, or the light was almost there, but not quite it. Oh, then you know what I can do? Just have a different light. Bro. Bro. I wonder. Because I kind of, for some reason, I see this as like in the dingy basement scene, right? I'll come back and paint these in like 2 years when I do the painting side of SAC. Stormy weather. Look in your eyes. Okay, yeah, I like this being the foreground. Actually, that's too much in the foreground. Whoops, kind of borked that one. That's okay. Because now this lamp, yeah, this should be here. That's okay. I'll turn this into another lamp. That's what art's all about, baby. Happy accidents. Oh, well. Okay. Oh, that's interesting, actually. Because if the light's pointing at our figure, then there's just a shadow on the wall. I'm not good enough for 2 light sources yet, but I can try. I don't know if I love that. Just try to keep these strokes going in the same direction. Yeah, I don't know about that. I like this. I like this more. Be free. It's alright. I don't really know what's happening with the lights over here, but it does tell a story. I think it tells way more of a story now. Because you go from just this idea, someone trying to build a plant, I mean, despair is kind of the key here, to somewhat of a you know, they're indoors now. What's up with this darkness? Why are there lights? I don't know. A lot of questions for me. I don't know if I think this one might be the best, or not the best, but these two. I think these two are my favorites. These two are where I take away the most. And I think this is what, I'll end on this note, but I think this is what I always got wrong about storyboarding. When I tried to do animations, it's like, I need to iterate on a couple compositions, make a key composition and then storyboard around it. Because the storyboard doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can start with 5 and 8, and then you can go in between. It's animation, right? You can start with the first and last frames in the middle frame and then do everything in between. So, alright. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and check off this one. Maybe more gold. Two more to go, but yeah, I'll end the stream here. These two should be done by the time I'm streaming tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning, I should be doing some anatomy or perspective. We'll see. Anyway, if you're watching and you drew along, hop in the Discord. Show me what you drew. If you enter on compositions, that'd be awesome. And nonetheless, thanks to anyone who stopped by. There were a couple people here and there, according to the graph. But yeah, onwards we go. Peace. We knew so well.